I've I've been told if you can't sleep, you should read. Is a way to help you fall asleep. And unfortunately, I have no books on me at the time, but I do have a lovely little game that I'm told has a lot to do with reading. That would be I believe it's Doki Literature Club Plus. Um, Now, when the first person recommended this game to me, they told me it was a horror game. And I looked at it and I thought to myself, this looks like a dating simulator. Well, I uh, I read the Steam reviews, and sure enough, some of the people in there said, you know what? It's a horror game. But still, I thought to myself, it's an awful lot like a dating simulator. Uh, and so it was mildly surprising when a few other people recommended Doki Literature Club Plus, saying it's a horror game. And in my mind, I'm still thinking, mm, looks like a dating sim. So naturally, I go to the one place that we all know we can trust, which is Google. Google says it's a horror game. So, coloring me a little perplexed and a little confused as I sit here looking at a game that is almost definitely a dating simulator, and yet everyone I have talked to has independently told me this is a horror game. My guess is that that's the running joke, and that what I'm about to do is about to play X number of hours of a dating simulator. In the event that it is a horror game, I will be incredibly surprised. I'm just gonna open it up. We're not gonna do anything other than listen to the sound, listen to the audio. I'm not even gonna pull it up on screen. We're just gonna open the game. We're just gonna listen to the sound of a wonderful atmospheric horror game as I open this for the very first time. Okay? Let's just see. Let's just see. What does this game sound like when I open it? Mm-hmm. See the company. Oh, great. All characters in this game are over the age of 18. I'm very glad it specified that for me. Game is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Honestly, that could go either way. That could go either way. Individuals suffering from anxiety or depression may not have a positive experience playing this game. I appreciate that. That actually gives me a little bit of hope. Would you like to reveal detailed content warnings? Oh, wow, hello. Which contain spoilers. Alternatively, in-game content warnings can be enabled in the settings menu at any time. Okay. Starting to actually feel like there may be some validity. I was admittedly expecting some very light, fluffy music right away. Um, I am not somebody who is triggered easily, and I am not somebody who suffers from any issues running into difficult topics and concepts. If you are somebody who is one of those people, this may be not for you. I'll if it looks like something like that, I'll put a more detailed spoiler in the description or a warning, just so you're aware. But okay, we did not get the light music that I was expecting to start out. Let's roll over. Let's go over to the. Oh my goodness, that beeping. I think the beeping is piercing specifically because I'm still recovering from the COVID. Now, what I will say is, while no, the sound is not there, this still looks a lot like a dating sim. No. You agree that you've noted the game's age rating in your region, and you consent to your exposure to highly disturbing content. Okay, admittedly, that's kind of getting a little weird. There's the dating sim music. That's what I was expecting. I think that's fine. I would like to point out that I do actually quite enjoy this music right here. It was very nice. I know it's probably down so far that you guys can't hear it, but I need to be able to think while I talk. Wow, it's actually quite charming music. God, it's still a dating sim. All right. Dialogue box size. I think like just up a little bit's probably fine. Text speed probably up a little bit. Auto forward time. We'll leave that where it is. I think that's probably okay. Bring the music back up. What I may actually do, tone these down a little bit. It's a dating sim. I've said you can't look at this and not. I see an annoying girl running over towards me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is Sayori, my neighbor and good friend since we were children. You know, the kind of friend you'd never see yourself making today, but it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long. We used to walk to school together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently, and I would get tired of waiting up. Okay, this audio is still super loud. Is this just like... Even that seems super loud, like... It does feel like... See, that's way too quiet. There? Let's see how that does. But if she's going to chase after me like this, I almost feel better off running away. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and let Sayori catch up to me. What is this face? I overslept again. No surprise, Sayori. But I caught you this time. That you did. Maybe, but only because I decided to stop and wait for you. Oh, that's me. You say that you were thinking about ignoring. Okay, the faces are cute. I will say that. Yes. Ah, a club to join. You know, I hadn't put much thought into it. I was thinking something very sporty, you know. Perhaps lacrosse. Oh, a club. God, what clubs was I a part of in high school? I mostly did sports, candidly. Very boring. Soccer and track. Did play a lot of video games on the weekend with my buddies, though. Look at the disappointment. I am not a good friend. Can we address that fact? My friendship level, very low. Any skills before college? I can socialize. I think that's a little harsh, Sayori. Oh. And I know you're happy now, but I die at the thought of you becoming a NEET. What is a NEET? Don't make me keep worrying about you. The concern? Very real. Alright, alright. Look for a few clubs if it makes you happy. No promises, though. My schedule is very busy. Quite booked. I guess I'll promise you that. Oh, she's so happy now. Relent to her. Interesting. I mean, it makes me want to ease her mind at least a little bit, even if she does exaggerate everything inside her head. School day is ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack my things, I stare blankly at the wall looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs. I look over here because this is where my chat is. So every time that I look over this way, yeah. Sayori wants me to check out some clubs. I guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club. Sayori, what are you doing here? Well, I was spacing out. Well, I thought you might need some encouragement, so I thought, you know, oh, look at the bashfulness. You know what? Oh, Sayori's got a club. Well, Sayori, what could this club possibly be? I do like the faces. I can't help it. Sayori is vice president of the literature club, not the president. She had any interest in literature. In fact, I'm 99% sure she only did it because she thought it would be fun to help start a new club. Since she was the first one to show interest after the one who proposed the club, she inherited the title vice president. Ah, so she did it for the prestige. That said, my interest in literature is guaranteed to be even less. Uh-oh, sad eyes. Why do you care so much anyway? That is a good question. Back to the finger thing. Does anybody do this? Does anybody get nervous and this is how you like deal with your nervousness? Not like making fun, but like this just doesn't feel very stable. It's a weird pose to have. Cause like for me, I'm pressing right now. Do you just like tap? I guess tapping works. But like it's very like I'd almost like hold it down a little bit. I think like this, but like down. Nah. Oh wow. She wrote a check she can't cash and she's coming for help. Got it. Okay. I see what's going on here now. And Natsuki made cupcakes and everything. I do love a good cupcake. You put the cream cheese frosting on a cupcake, or get the confetti cupcakes. Oh, sold. I like the nervous laugh. Yep. That's what I would say. So far, they've nailed my character for the most part. She's so cunning as to have planned all this out. And that's what I'm wondering, which is convenient because this is me thinking. Yeah, nope, that checks out too. And thus today marks the day I sold my soul for a cupcake. You know, here's what I'm going to say. This is still probably a dating simulator. But I do love this line. Let's go to the literature club. I dejectedly follow Sayori across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit. I'm going to pull my mic in a little closer. I know that this will get, maybe a little nose. Maybe we'll pull it up a little bit, but I also am not hitting yellow, except for that when I cough. Sayori, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Everyone, the new member is here. I'm just doing a little quick mic check again, looking. I am going to pull the music down a little further. I'm trying to get it so that it's... I like to have the audio of the game about half of mine. I feel like membership's a little easy to get for this club. Like, I want something a little more prestige. Something that's a little more challenge. Girl 1. It's a pleasure meeting you. It's a goddamn dating sim. Ah, Sayori's talking about me, eh? Oh, wow, savage. Okay, fine. I'll pump the brakes there, okay, kid? Way to kill the atmosphere. Oh, look! Somebody actually called me by their name. By my name. Welcome to the club. I'm gonna keep that thought to myself. All words escape me in this situation. This club. Ah, and this is where the dating simulator starts. What are you looking at? Okay, so we got Natsuki here. No longer girl 2. I don't recognize. Like a first-year student. Oh, savage. You can just ignore her when she gets moody. Savage. Sayori says that quietly into my ear, then turns back towards the other girls. Natsuki, always full of energy, and this is Yuri, the smartest in the club. Don't say things like that. Ooh. Okay, also, humble. Comparably more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with people like Sayori and Natsuki. That's like a little bit of a burn, okay. Sounds like you already know Monica, is that right? How do Monica and I know each other? Okay. Ah, okay. Wait, how do we know each other well, but we rarely talked? Like, okay, listen. That's not how knowing one another well works. Eat too, Monica. Hey, I made them. I'll get them. And how about I make some tea as well? Oh, nice. Tea, too? Although I do feel like tea and cupcakes is a weird fit. I take my tea unsweet. Oh, I don't get to choose? I was kind of hoping I'd have the choice. The first major decision in a horror game. I swear, if my first choice is the cupcake, a dozen white, fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. I do like cat decorations. I played Clash earlier, and I got a little cat ward, which I was very exciting about. This is very adorable. Suri grabs one first, then Monica. I follow. Yep, that's classic Sayori. There's no best angle. You just bite right into that thing and accept the fact that you're I'm Sayori. Okay, noted. Sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. It's not like haven't I heard this somewhere before? Made them for you or anything. Listen, they can still appreciate a good cupcake. Dismiss the conversation. Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. There's no way I'm gonna be able to manage like voicing all these people. You keep it, but this is me, so I guess I can do this. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? I just how? How does nobody mess with this? I feel like a hot cup of tea with a book would just like knock me out. Yep. There I am, trying to fill in the space for something that I clearly have never done. Oh, sold out. Jesus. Yeah, listen, Yuri, I was right there with you. Insulted. Oh, look at me coming to her defense. So what made you consider literature club? Funny story, coercion mostly. Mostly coercion. Oh, always go with the truth. You probably could be a board member for any of the major clubs. We're cheerleader debate club last year. Oh, let's see the facial expression change. Oh, okay, not what I was expecting. To be honest, I can't stand all the politics around the major clubs. Feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. Very practical, Monica. I appreciate that. fulfilling that dream. Aww. You could put it that way. Candidly, I'm enjoying this way more than I expected to. But this is a dating sim. Oh, what kind of thing? Anime. I like anime. Candidly, Captain Roo personally, been really enjoying going through some of the Neil Gaiman graphic novels with Sandman. Neil Gaiman is just like my author of choice at all times, right? Like I think the man's just a genius. But with the announcement of the Sandman on Netflix, I believe it is, I've been going through and reading some more of the graphic novels. I've gone through some of them, and I'm continuing with it. I absolutely love some of the things that he's chosen to do in there, and just, I don't know, it's so cool. And it's cool to blend both his writing, which I think is very skillfully done, with, you know, essentially that comic book feel. One of the coolest scenes was where the Sandman is basically doing like slam poetry, kind of something like that, with the devil, and they're like going back and forth. Slam poetry is definitely not the right term, but we're gonna keep going like it is. But he's going back and forth with the devil, and they're both like throwing concepts and creatures and like ideas at one another, and they're trying to one up one another, so that the Sandman can get back like one of his priceless artifacts. And it's just so cool. And it's one of those things that is, in a book alone, it would have been amazing, but in a graphic novel, it's fantastic. All this to say, I have no business being in a literature club. Disarmingly honest. Manga. I mutter quietly to myself, half joking. Oh, Natsuki, also a manga fan. Not much of a reader, I guess. Nope. Don't know why I'm in a literature club. Look at that. My character has an innate desire to please. Oh, turn it. This is what's important. If you can't fit yourself into a topic or you're having a hard time answering questions, turn it back and just give the other person the opportunity to speak. Best way to handle this situation. Deep and complex fantasy worlds. I love this too. This is actually like, dude, can we talk about Tolkien? Tolkien's books aren't amazing in my opinion because of like the actual storytelling in them. Tolkien's books and the Lord of the Rings and just kind of everything going on in Middle Earth is fantastic because of what a cool, rich, deep world that Tolkien created. That's why the Lord of the Rings is amazing. That's why it's impactful. I think that the books, at least the last time I read them, which candidly I was very young when I read the Lord of the Rings, I think the writing was just okay, but I absolutely fell in love with the complexity and depth of the world. It felt like I was like reading about a real place. And there have been a lot of amazing fantasy sci-fi books that I've read since, but nothing has ever felt like it reached that level of depth. Tolkien was just on a whole nother level, and it was absolutely incredible. Continue, Yuri. I'm sorry. Yep. Yuri and I are on the same page here. It's cool when people get so passionate about something too that they just like really open up about it. Ah, and the point where you realize you may have revealed your nerdiness just a touch too soon. And you backtrack and try to open it up a little bit more because the person you're talking to might not enjoy equally nerdy things. Let's continue with this. Now, I was told psychological horror. I'm wondering if this is foreshadowing for the horror that's going to happen in this dating simulator. So deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for... Listen, if this isn't a dating simulator, this right here is 100% giving you guys a little tease, like a little view through the looking glass. A lot of horror lately. I read a horror book once. I actually haven't read much horror. It's very difficult to get horror correct, in my opinion, and I've really struggled. Even with the classics, oftentimes they don't build up the same dread for me. And I can go on some tangents on this. The one I will, circling back to a topic we've already discussed, is Mines of Moria, when the drums sound for the first time. Gandalf, or whoever it is, I believe it's Gandalf in the book, reads kind of the recounting of what happened to the group of dwarves that came into Moria before the Fellowship did. In that mention of drums in the deep, they're coming. And then the drums start sounding just a little bit later. It's like, oh, like I had a pit in my stomach when I experienced that. But horror books in general, very challenging to get right, in my opinion. Having a conversation with a rock. Oh, Monica coming in. If a story makes me think or takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very stressful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment. I love like, so horror where you have a murderer with a knife that is chasing somebody down, very boring. Horror with a demon, with a supernatural presence, with a ghost, all those are fascinating to me because in all of those cases, you don't just have a normal person, you have a creature, you have a being, you have an entity, and most of the time they're much more powerful than the humans they're interacting with. But they very frequently also have a very strict set of rules that they need to follow. And what's really cool for me is watching the characters begin to understand and get this idea of how these rules work with this creature, and then try to figure out how they can turn it on the creature to take advantage and find some way to try to fight back, even if it feels absolutely futile. And it's that race, right? That race to first understand and then combat. And that to me is so cool. Natsuki, not a horror fan. Okay, well, Natsuki, what are you into? Oh, why not? Listen, I'm not here to judge you, Natsuki. You do your thing. Write about cute things. It's weird. It is like super weird. Like, okay, these two, Natsuki and Monica, very clearly having a conversation with one another. It's very weird that everybody's eyes are on me. Like, you should not all be looking at me while you're all having a conversation with one another. Like, I'm barely present in this. Wait, you just read it, Monica? You don't just... Monica just outs people. Jeez. Look at the... See, this is the horror right here. Your cupcakes, your poems. Oh no, Natsuki. Poetry's awesome. I can't think of very many good poems that aren't just also dreadfully, like, dreary that I can remember, but we'll keep going. We'll save that for another time. This is a little presumptuous here, and I don't know that I approve. Also, like, points away from me for that. I can literally just right-click and this just... If I do this, do I see which one of them's holding the knife, ready to stab all of us? Look at Yuri coming in for the save. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. Open up your readers to exposing your vulnerabilities and showing them the deepest reaches of your heart. Ah. Now what Monica could do here instead is be like, hey guys, here's something that I wrote. Instead, hey Yuri, why don't you show something off? Put somebody else on the spot. Yep, look at that. There's the psychological horror. There's the dread. Now, Sayori, most likely innocent in all of this, but let us not forget that she 100% from day one, and by day one I mean the beginning of the day, coerced me into joining this club. So her little, I wanted to read everybody's poems, I don't buy it. You guys ever been at like a meetup group or something like that, or like a social event where it's like you and you're sitting with a bunch of people that you don't know super well, and there's just that moment where the conversation just dies. And it's very clear that everybody at the table is just doing everything in their power to come up with something to talk about. And there's just like a collective failure of the group to have any ideas. That's this moment. And Monica, clearly the most extrovert. Well, I don't know. Sayori's pretty extroverted. Natsuki's like extroverted in a different way. But, you know, Monica, I think it makes sense to be the one to kind of come in and salvage. Oh, man. The next time we meet, we'll all share them with each other. See, here's what I do like. She is giving us the knowledge that we are going to be sharing, and therefore there's less and more pressure, but at least Natsuki and Yuri both know that when they go, they're going to be writing, and this is something that will be shared, and they're not being put on the spot like they were before, where it's like, hey, like, what's going on? I love the, yeah, good idea. Yeah, good idea. Like, this is a split house right now. Oh my goodness, I'm totally in the way of, let me move this webcam group. I'm not sure when this happened, but we can, there. Better, we can see everybody's face now. More comfortable with each other and strengthen the bond of the club. Isn't that right, Captain Room? Calling me out, putting me on the spot? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. Hold on, there's still one problem. I haven't identified this problem myself, so I'm curious what character me thinks. What's that? I've only come forth with what's been on my mind the entire time. Uh-oh. Here's what I do love. Let's see how each of them reacts. Shock, embarrassment, shock, yeah. Oh. And shock, embarrassment. Yep, no, this all checks out. This is about what I was expecting. Oh no. Then the innate people pleaser in me would have such a hard time with this. There's a I won't share that story because that deals with somebody else. There is a Facebook post, and that's all I'll say. Oh my goodness, it's just like each one of them. Oh no. Dude, sometimes you just gotta rip the band-aid off. How funny would it be if your decision could be, hey, don't join the club, and the game just ends? It's like, cool, you did it. It is, if writing poems... Okay, let's be very clear. Writing poetry is not that, like, it's not that bad. I would say it's not even bad. It's not a skill that I have. It's not something I'd say I'm good at, but like I would easily write poetry. Like, I mean, oh wow. This isn't a nat 1 charisma, like a follow up, but like this is low single digit. This is like a 5. Interesting. Happiness. Shock. Shock. Not not really sure what's going on here. This is a very fairly placid response. Never mind. There it is. It's processed. We understand now. Cupcakes do sound really good. Okay, everyone. I think with that we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. This does feel like a relatively short club meeting. Okay. I look forward to seeing how you express yourself. Me too, game. Me too. Do you want to walk home together? Yeah, sure. Yay! And make our way home. Yeah, you know what? We've been going for almost 45 minutes on the nose. Let's go ahead and hit the save button. Excuse me. This is just a bunch of other stuff. Okay. Sorry, I thought I was getting super hotted there for a second. I do like the music a lot. It is very weird that the music's just gone. Mail? What the heck? This is weird. Can I play music while this is all happening? I do love this song. It's so interesting. Data collected 3%. Is that like I'm through 3% of the game? I don't really want to venture too far into side stories. Okay, I am going to quit. We're going to go over to chatting. Uh, it looks a lot like a dating sim. I'm going to be honest. I admit I haven't played a dating simulator before, but I feel like I'm about 45 minutes into one. Seems like a dating sim. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to find every avenue I can to make this horror. It looks like a dating sim. Seems an awful lot like a dating sim. But I will admit I had a lot more fun than I was expecting. Uh, Next time, looks like we'll be going home and writing, a little poem, really think about my most inward thoughts and who I am as a person and all that stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll probably be rolling the end credits here in just a second. When we get future clips of this up, I will be making sure to make those available for you guys. If you did like this playthrough so far, please do consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It does help a lot. Also, for these things, this is one of the first videos I'm making of games that I'm playing that I'm not streaming. I'm just kind of playing this game on my own time. And so seeing things like comments, just anything you guys have to say, any things you're thinking about, any comments really help me to see that this is something you guys are interested in. Um, and kind of helps me to take more suggestions that are in this vein seriously if this is stuff you guys want to see me play. Um, it's very helpful and it just helps the channel grow a lot. In general, I will be putting a link to my Twitch channel down in the description as well. If it is something that you enjoy and you want to see me doing content live, the Twitch channel is the best place to do it. We're primarily a Dead by Daylight stream right now. We do horror games relatively frequently. Wednesday is always my single player game through right now. That's primarily horror. And then periodically we fit some other stuff in there. But genuinely, this game's been fun so far. Hopefully it stays that way. It's weird. This is definitely not, not what I would pick for myself, but there've been enough people who recommended it to me, who just told me to play it. And candidly, you know what? Games are here to be entertaining. They're here so that you can have a good time, so that you can enjoy yourself. I'm having a fun time.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. This is Cabinaroo. If you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing. You can find me on Twitch or the next video.